if you're familiar with a recent ad that VCDL put together on the racist roots of gun control, then you know the next speaker, Kenn Blanchard.
Many people want to overlook the racist roots of gun control here in America. Post-Reconstruction carry permits were often issued at the whim of the courts, often denying minorities the right to defend themselves against hate groups. Martin Luther King's application for a concealed carry permit was denied by the authorities, even after his house was blown up. Owning a gun is a right that guarantees one's ability to protect all of your other rights. The right to worship how you want, the right to say what you want, the right to gather with like-minded people and tell the government no. Without the Second Amendment, infringements upon all of our other natural and God-given rights can and will happen. That is why we at the Virginia Citizens Defense League work so hard to defend your right to protect you and your loved ones. Because at the end of the day, we are only one race, human, and basic human rights apply to everyone.
Kenn has been fighting for our right to keep and bear arms for years and years. As far back as 1991, before we had shall issue, he came to Richmond to testify why we needed to change the laws. And he left the General Assembly speechless, as I recall, and I don't doubt that. He's one heck of a speaker. And being the patriot that he is, he also traveled to many other states to help them. He went to Texas, he went to South Carolina, Michigan, Wisconsin, and Maryland to fight for those people, our brothers and sisters in those states, and their right to defend themselves. Kenn was originally from Suffolk, and now he lives in Maryland, but he's been everything from a firearms instructor to a police officer. He also wrote a book, and this book was an eye-opener for me. It was called Black Man with a Gun, and that if you weren't familiar with everything else, that might get your attention. And as a white person, this explained a lot to me about the black culture and why that, especially a lot of the black women, are not in favor of gun rights. But it explained the history of it and how it came to be. And thankfully, this whole movement towards gun rights is now bringing in more and more minorities. And it's also bringing in more and more black women, which is wonderful because it's finally breaking them away from the history in the past that made them cautious about their young men having guns because of the past back in the 1800s and into the 1900s. He founded a national shooting club for African Americans called the 10th Cavalry Gun Club, and he did that in 1991. And this kind of stuff is so important. Again, we want everybody in this. Second Amendment protects all of us, and especially protects minorities. But Kenn has been a solid defender and a believer in VCDL from its very beginnings. And Kenn has done a little preaching in his life, and he's one heck of a speaker.
I'm Reverend Kenn Blanchard, a son of the Commonwealth of Virginia, activist, blogger, and podcaster, known as the Black Man with a Gun. Due to the ongoing COVID pandemic and political environment in 2020 and 2021, we are all recording our messages virtually. My thoughts and prayers are with all the families that are recovering from the coronavirus and grieving over the loss of life and our way of life. Ladies and gentlemen, the price of liberty is eternal vigilance. The Virginia Citizens Defense League has been leading this event for over a decade to allow us the opportunity to utilize the Martin Luther King holiday weekend to meet with our legislators, exercise our First and Second Amendment rights in a decent and orderly manner in Richmond. It has also been a time of Virginians to re-energize and inspire one another to stay in the fight to keep and bear arms. Now, last year was an unprecedented number of people that converged on the Capitol. I think we scared them, but we are not deterred. We are not afraid, and we are not stopping. The home of the colonies, this place that started this great nation, also started gun control. Today, we stand against those that would prohibit, restrict, and deny our freedoms. What's cool is that we are not all the same color, race, religion, political, gender, or ethnic persuasions. But we are free. We are Americans. We are from Virginia. We want it to stay that way. It's a famous quote. The condition upon which God hath given liberty to man is eternal vigilance. Thomas Jefferson, Frederick Douglass, James Buchanan said it in their great speeches. What it means to us is that as soon as you become a gun owner, there is some joker trying to change the gun laws for their own political agenda. We have to stay on top of these laws. We have to stay on top of the elected officials because gun control is an easy target. You know, to add a law or a piece of legislation here and there doesn't affect the rich, but it does affect the common man or woman in the Commonwealth. It makes the politician appear like they're doing something. The fact that the law doesn't help anyone, save a life, or protect a child is not important as looking like you did something while you were in office. And gun control and gun bills are low-hanging fruit. To the uninitiated, the uneducated, and the ignorant, you might not understand why we get upset about one more law, one more bill, one more prohibition. Because freedom isn't free. The price of your freedom is that you must be forever watchful for that newly elected or lifetime politician that is against guns from taking away your right to own, hunt, buy, protect, collect, or choose to be a gun owner. Here in the Commonwealth, it started with the race-based total and self-defense bans. They had language back in 1619 that said that all such free mulattoes, Negroes, and Indians shall appear without arms. Whenever you hear somebody says that gun control is racist, they're talking about stuff that came from our Commonwealth. In 1712, David included weapons including clubs. Yeah. 1619, this whole race-based gun ban was based on the Act for Preventing Negro Insurrections. I can talk about insurrections, but I won't. Gun control laws do not deter crime. Gun owners deter crime. Gun control laws infringe upon the rights of self-defense and deny people a sense of safety. Gun control laws, especially those that try to ban assault weapons, so-called assault weapons, infringe upon the right to own guns for whatever. Don't tell me what I can own. I am still free. Don't let the mayhem and the politics of Washington, D.C. sway you either. No matter what the celebrities say, the paid hosts, the folks with a lot of followers say, you are on your own. Don't let the anti-rights people here in Richmond make you a criminal after you defend yourself, after you buy a gun legally, after you buy or try to buy some ammo, and the cost has been risen to $5 a cartridge because you slept on something that you could have done here in Richmond. You know, one of the tricks of the past is to make it economically hard to be a gun owner that only the wealthy can afford. The first time that was tried was right after the Civil War when they raised the price of surplus handguns by 10%, not 10%, 10 cents. 10 cents. And it kept poor whites and the newly freed slaves unable to buy. That 10 cents was a lot of money back then. You see, it doesn't have to come from a racist to be wrong either. There are some good-natured folks with the wrong intentions and information out here telling you that you don't need this or that. And for the longest time, the clergy, which I'm a member of, used to preach against gun ownership, except for hunting. I'm not one of those clergymen. Friends, family, and patriots, thank you for your vigilance. Thank you for taking a day off to fight for our right to keep and bear arms. Thank you for talking to your legislators and legislators. Thank you for following these bad bills and bad legislation. You see, alone, we can do so little, but together, we can make a difference. They don't want us together. They don't even want us to meet this year. COVID was convenient. Fear is escalating everywhere. Be mindful of the tactics that separate us. Be mindful and mature when dealing with anti-rights people. Be careful of those that look like you but are not like you. We have snake oil salesmen in our groups too. But together we can get through this, and we will. You can follow me on blackmanwithagun.com, and you can listen to the podcast. Stay strong, stay healthy, keep your eyes and your ears open, stay free. And just in case nobody else has told you this today, I love you. And it's not a damn thing you can do about it. God bless you.